everybody. My name is Zach, and we're here with Candace Aguirre for Cafecito. And Candace, if you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do here.
Yes, so my name is Candace. I am the Liaison Program Coordinator for Fostering RAM Success. So basically I get to help any of our foster alumni students or potentially any homeless students or students who have been homeless, kind of help them through that process. So, you know, I really help them with their applications, but that's not the end. We definitely want to keep that connection and help them throughout their years here, you know, kind of give them a support system they may or may not have, and I think that's something that's super important.
Yeah.
I was a first-gen student, and my parents were super supportive of me coming to college, which I thought was really awesome, but they didn't know, you know, what financial aid was, how I was supposed to fill out FAFSA, how I was supposed to get scholarships or grants or loans or whatever it was. And so I'm trying to kind of mend that gap that I know I didn't have and get to help some other people along the way.
Absolutely.
So, yes, I'm pretty obsessed with this job already. I've been here since March. Before that, I was an admissions counselor, so always had a heart for students, for sure.
Awesome. And you're also an alum here?
Yes.
When did you graduate? You've got your bachelor's, your master's from here. When did you complete those?
So I got my bachelor's in 2017, and then I got my master's in 2018. So I got my bachelor's in business management. I thought I was going to be a super businesswoman. It was my plan from the beginning. And then I actually came to school, and that's when I fell in love with higher ed. So I've kind of worked lots of different areas.
You just decided to stick around.
Yes. Yes.
And also, you used to work in this very office.
Yes, I did. Once upon a time, for sure. It was back in like 2016. I'm pretty sure it was 2016. That's still up in the air a little bit, but it was like 2016-ish. I got to work with RAM Roundup when it was in this office. It first transitioned here, and then when it was moved to another office, I actually got to stay and work here just as a multicultural center student worker.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my title was. It was a while back, but I got to work here. Yes. So I definitely enjoyed it. It has changed a lot. I definitely know it's been renovated a little bit since I worked here, but I love coming back here. So it's
awesome. Well, it's thank you for coming in today and for being here for our first face-to-face interview. It completely changes the dynamic of everything, and it's we've had some good interviews, but it's so nice just to sit with somebody and have a cup of coffee and just talk face-to-face. It makes it so much more natural. So whenever you're ready, I have a list of questions here, and we'll you ready to get into it?
Let's do it. Let's see where this goes.
All right. Number one, when you go to the grocery store, where do you go first?
So I am not the biggest vegetable or fruit or healthy eater. I should be, but I definitely don't. But that is always where I go first. I guess it's always in my head. You know what? I need to get my vegetables and my fruits in. And I grab like 2 apples and like a thing of salad. I'm like, oh, great. And then I'm done. I'm done with my vegetables for the day. But that's typically where I start out. Also, it's like the first thing you see when you go into a grocery store. But I always end up in the, you know, the chips aisle or the candy.
You save that for last.
Yes,
you know, best
always.
for last.
Yeah.
What nicknames do you go by, and how did you get them?
So I didn't really grow up with many nicknames. I would say Candy was one when I had when I was a kid, but it didn't last very long. I wasn't really a fan of it. I didn't really like it. So as I got older, well, honestly, since I was younger too, my little brother, he never would fully say Candace. He would always say Can. It was just an easier one.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. It's pretty short and typical, so it's nothing too crazy. But through high school, when I would play sports, C was my kind of go-to name, just because it was short, simple, a lot shorter than Candace, and that's kind of stuck too. So usually it's Can or C. Mrs. Aguirre has been one that's been a lot here lately that they just throw out there, because we got married in September, so I get that one a lot, and it's never like just normal talk. It's always like, you know, for sure trying to pull a Mrs. Aguirre, you know, kind of thing. So it's cool, but it's very typical, nothing too crazy out of the ordinary.
The first time you get called Mrs. or Mr., it's
weird.
It takes some getting used to. Like, no, you stop.
Stop it. Stop. What are you doing?
What would you consider to be the best thing you've ever purchased?
Honestly, I love shoes. So I buy shoes. I buy way too much stuff all the time, honestly. But I don't know. I guess the most like profound thing that we've bought so far is probably our house. And we are currently like renovating some certain parts of it, kind of making it more our home. And so that's been a lot of fun. So I think that's kind of been one of the biggest that I can kind of go back to all the time. Is like, I just love that one. Everything else is kind of, it comes and goes. Shoes, clothes, I'm like, okay, over this, spring cleaning kind of thing. So probably our house. I think that's something that is very something we did together.
Exactly.
And so I really, I would say
awesome.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Okay, what is something you've been meaning to try but haven't gotten around to?
So I'm honestly kind of a very picky eater, for sure. And so I don't try very many things. But, so I did have, I had COVID back in like January. And gratefully I didn't have any of the very hard symptoms or anything like that. But I did lose my smell. And it comes, I have smell, but I have to like really, sniff in to like smell it. But I've tried a lot more things because of it. Because I can't, I'm if I smell something, I'm like, I'm not trying it. It might look great, but I'm not trying it. I don't like the smell of it. And so I feel like I've tried a lot more things. Not that it was my favorite, but like blue cheese was always one that just doesn't look the best. But I couldn't smell it, so I was like, you know what, might as well try it. It wasn't that bad. It was okay. But I kind of stick to my same food, so I don't really have anything in mind. I feel like caviar is one that pops up, but I know I won't try it, like, ever. Because just looking at it, I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't really have anything that I haven't tried. It's usually if I want it, I'm just going to go for it.
Right. What about outside of, like, maybe, like, activity-wise, or, like, outside of...
So I have really wanted to hike the, like, here in San Angelo, like, at the state park, like, kind of walk through there. And it might just be because I'm dumb, but every time we go, we always go to the wrong entrance or something. And then by the time we get there, we're like, you know what, it's fine. We just like turn around and come back. So eventually hiking. I would say hiking the state park, or at least walking one of the trails, nothing crazy. But that's probably one of the ones that we really want to do, or I really want to do. We just haven't had the chance to do it yet.
If you were a burglar but could only take something that would inconvenience people, what would you take?
Remotes. Oh my gosh.
You are evil.
Because I hate when I can't find a remote, or when you like put it on your bed and then you're like, I know exactly where it is, and then you get out of bed for a second and you come back and it's gone because it's all somewhere in the blankets. I hate it. So I feel like that would be like the most inconvenient thing.
It is. What about Angelo State do you love the most?
I think it's just the people. And like I said, I started here and then found my passion, and I ended up getting my master's in higher ed. I don't know if I said that earlier, but that's where I fell in love with it all. It was just the people. There's so many differences out there, and we get to all come together in one place and find our passions and find our love for education and where we want to end up. And I honestly have met very few people here on campus that I didn't click with. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't find something in common with, whether it be that we just go to ASU and we get to vibe off of that, but it's just the people. Like, that's really what keeps me here. It's just, I love the people. I mean, obviously the campus is beautiful too, so it's nice to walk around a beautiful campus, but I truly think it's the people and just how nice and true, like, the people are here.
Yeah. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, where would you hunker down and why?
Y'all, I would not survive a zombie apocalypse. I wouldn't. My husband might.
We gotta stick with him.
Well, that would always be the plan, right? But then he's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna meet me here, and I'm like, right, and then I'm not gonna meet him there. I'm not gonna find a way to get there. I don't know.
Don't go to the state park.
I'm never gonna find it anyway, so it's fine. But okay, so the one thing I would say is, so right beside, like, I think it's a couple streets over, we've seen like an actual, I guess you could say an underground like little spot.
Like a shelter, like a storm shelter or something?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really know. It's kind of old, so I don't know. It might be scary under there. It might be worse under there. I don't know. But I feel like that would be a good place because you're underground.
Yeah.
Unless, you can hear them walking above you. I don't know. But again, I wouldn't survive. So even if I was hunkered down somewhere, they were going to find me. I talk way too much to be quiet around those guys. I just know I wouldn't survive. That's about my extent of a zombie apocalypse.
Hey, you have to have hope, okay?
I mean, you
can be realistic too. You'd survive for a little bit.
Probably, I would probably say maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month top. I don't think it'd make it past that. Also, I like my specific foods. I don't know if I can be eating out of cans all day. I don't know.
Just tell the zombies to take you.
Yes, just take me. It's fine. I'm done with this life.
If a zombie attacks you, it's not like don't you become a zombie?
Yeah, but like your brain's not there, so I feel like your soul would be.
I feel like we
lifted.
need to do more research, though. Like, we don't really know what it's like
Yeah,
to be
oh
one.
my gosh, what if we do become zombies and we don't actually go anywhere else and we're just stuck inside the zombie's brain?
Yeah.
You know when there's like, like movie, what is it? Get Out, where he's like in there but not in there. Like,
right.
what if that's how the zombie is?
It could be, and we would never know it.
Oh my gosh, that would suck.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm rethinking my whole. Maybe I should try harder.
Be a zombie. I don't know your top 3 favorite movies in no particular order. Just top 3 that come to mind.
Okay, so Rio is like one of my absolute favorites, like the little with the birds and everything. So that was actually like the first movie me and my husband watched when we were like in high school together when we first started dating. So it was like the first movie. I don't know why it was a kids movie. It was just the first movie we hung out and watched. So that's one of my favorites. I love the Fast and the Furious like series of movies.
Okay.
I couldn't pick just one of those. They're kind of getting a little ridiculous as we're getting further out, but the beginning ones were really good. I really, really like those. Maybe like The Lord of the Rings. I really like those movies too.
Yeah.
I could watch those all day.
Good call.
Yeah, I think those 3.
And you can lump the entire series in as one.
As one. Yeah,
awesome.
I think so. Yeah, because I could tell you the names of each one of them. If we watch them, it's usually in a row, yeah, all together.
What is the most memorable event that's happened in your lifetime?
Well, I just got married, so I definitely think that's probably the most exciting one we've had. We'll be together for 8 years in August, so it was definitely a long time coming. Thank you. But it was a long time coming, so being able to like finally actually get to participate in that and create the wedding of our dreams, it was pretty memorable. So yeah, I would say our wedding.
What is the strangest gift you've ever received?
So I'm such a gift receiver. Like, I don't care what it is. I love gifts. It doesn't matter. So I don't think of anything that's been super strange. You know what? Oh my goodness. Okay, for graduation, from high school, I got this gift that was full of like kitchen gadgets, and it was perfect. But then there was this random like spatula in there that was like this big, like literally like the spatula was like this big, and it retracted, or like it got bigger.
Okay. And
all I could think about was like, what am I supposed to use this on? Because on a barbecue pit, like, wasn't gonna flip a steak? It's this big, like, I can't get to flip. And so, honestly, I guess that is the strangest thing. Cause that's the person that popped in my head.
What kind of reality show would you appear in?
Oh my gosh. It would have to be a talk show, because I can literally talk all day long. So I don't know, like, a specific one.
This is kind of like a reality show.
Yeah, it kind of is, right? It is my life,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah.
Also, my life is ridiculously boring, like, outside of here. It is, it truly is, like, kind of thing. But, like, we like to go home and watch movies, or play with our dogs, or hang out at our house. It's very seldom we actually go out and socialize. We're definitely in that area of time where our friends we're at their houses or they're at ours, and it's just kick back, relaxing, maybe play some card games.
Right.
But we're kind of past the life of going out every night, and if we do, oh my gosh, it takes me like 2 days to recover from sleep. Like, I have an alarm that goes up at 9 o'clock. Like, you should go to sleep by 10 because you're going to be cranky tomorrow. So, yeah, my life's pretty boring. So I don't think a reality show would make it. Maybe watching my dogs run around, though. They might get some fame there. They're pretty crazy.
I think a talk show would be good for you.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what is your goal by the end of the decade?
So by the end of the decade, I will have been in this position for quite some time. I mean, definitely almost 10 years, because we're in 2021. So I'm hoping by the end that we have a student organization that comes out of our program, and that we have enough, because we have over 150 foster alumni students that are in our program. But I don't think a lot of them realize that there are that many on campus, because a lot of our, outreach and things like that are blind copied, or they're individualized, because we don't want students to feel like we're outing them or anything either. It's their story to tell, not ours. Yeah. And so my goal is that it becomes so normal for them that they would love to come to an organization and hang out with other people and understand that there isn't just 2 or 3 on campus. There's
Yeah.
over 100 that have lived in the same world that they did. That's a big one as far as a work goal. I would say for our personal goal, I'm getting a new car and I'm so excited about it. Probably within the next year or two, so nothing like, right now. But I bought my car that I've had, I want to say it was like in 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
And it was just like a little cash car, get me point A to point B. But it's become the dog mobile. So it definitely, I have 2 German Shepherds that are huge.
Yeah.
And then we have an Australian Shepherd mix that we rescued.
Very cool.
All of them shed like it's their
Yeah.
job. So my car is disgusting. I know that's horrible to say, but no matter how much you try to get the hair up, it's just there. And so it's definitely time. I'm so over driving my car. So I think within a decade, definitely have a new car.
Right.
I think that's a big one. And then hopefully we'll have maybe our first kid by then.
For our final question, what advice would you give students at Angelo State University?
So one of the really big things that I think is important, and I know that it's very cheesy. It definitely is. I feel like it's everywhere. But getting involved. Getting involved on campus is super important. Even if it's just, one organization or just one group. It doesn't truly have to be an organization. If it's you go to church or you're in a runner's group or it's something in the community. Just creating a home away from home is super, super important. My first year, I came with a group of Circle from San Saba, which is where I grew up. And I had my circle of people. I didn't need to find any more people. I came with one of my best friends. She was the maid of honor in my wedding, and I also came with my boyfriend, who's now my husband. So it's just, I had my circle. I didn't need anybody else. And my first year definitely missed out on so much because I didn't get involved. I didn't look for other ways to make this a home away from home. And I was such a homebody, too. So I have 3 younger siblings. And leaving them was super hard because I knew they were going to get to grow up and I wasn't going to get to be there.
Yeah.
And so I was a person that liked to go home a lot. I really was. And so I was lucky in that aspect that my husband also came to school with me because he was like, we can't go home every weekend. What are you doing? And so that helped a lot because then I started trying to find, okay, I need to find some people out here. I need to figure out what my life is going to be away from, being big sister kind of things. And then that's when I shifted into Ram Roundup. And I feel like that's really when my getting involved kind of took off because that's where I started meeting more people that were involved in organizations, Greek life, social, academic. They were all kinds of different ones, or even just fun ones like, like Frisbee golf team, or, like things like they were just so random. There were so many people out there. And that's when I decided I wanted to join AMAS, which was the Association of Mexican American Students. Okay. And so once I joined that one, I really feel like that's when I started kind of getting out a little bit more because I started meeting a lot more people. So we'd get invited, or I'd get invited, or I made my best friend go with us. So we would go places too. So it was really cool just being able to, become a part of those organizations. And then Mariposas was a sub-organization of AMAS. And so being a part of a little girl group too was cool because you always need a circle of, your people. And I found some there too. Another one of my best friends was in AMAS when we kind of grew closer together. Right. And then she was also in my wedding. So it's just, you truly find, when they say you find your bridesmaids in college, you really do. It's crazy. I mean, granted, I have like 3 sisters, so I already had 3 lined up. But I found my people outside of that too. Yeah. And I just feel like if you don't get involved, you're going to waste so much of your time. That first year, it really was. I just couldn't imagine how much further, and how many more people we would have met if I would have started that first year. Right. I think one of my big ways of meeting people in the classrooms, too, that was my goal also, was when I go into a classroom, I wanted to know at least one person. Because as much as you want to be in class every time, there are going to be times that you don't make it. For me, it was, if it was cold and rainy, it was hard for me to get out of bed to go to my 8 a.m. class. So every now and then, I wouldn't make it to class, but I had somebody in there that I could say, hey, I didn't make it to class. Could you help me with some notes for today? Or could you tell me if I missed anything, super important, whatever it may be. So I would walk into a classroom, and the first person that would smile, I would sit by them. Yeah. And because clearly they were friendly, they were smiling at me, right? That was a good thing. And then it always worked out. So that's kind of what I always tell my kiddos too, is if you're really nervous, someone smiles at you, they're genuine. They want, like, they're not trying to hide from you. They're not trying to, they literally made eye contact with you. Like, just go sit with them.
That's
and
good and nice.
At least you might not be best friends, you know, you might not be,
Right.
but you have somebody in there that is going to be able to help you too. So,
Yeah.
Or you're going through the exact same class. So that really helps me.
Yeah. I've never heard of that, and that's probably one of the most useful things I've ever heard.
It's super random, but yes, that's
cool.
That was the easiest way for me to kind of get out there, get out of the comfort zone. Because I actually came to school very much an extrovert, and as I've gone through, you know, my time here at ASU, I'm literally like right in the middle of introvert and extrovert. And I think it's just when I choose to be social, it's when it comes out, and when I am, oh my gosh, you can't get me to stop talking. It's ridiculous. But when I am truly like in the zone or something, I can be very much, I don't see you, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get this done, and I don't talk as much. So I don't know, but I'm very much in the middle. So I guess it's changed me a little bit, probably in the best way.
Yeah.
Come to school just so that I can figure out when and where I need to use those skills.
There's a time and a place.
Yes, like right now, talking all day long. It's perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. That concludes. That's all of our questions. Thank you so much for being here and talking, and this. And everyone else, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.